Hello, YouTube! Today we're going down to, where you see us driving down Palo Duro Canyon. We're going to see the Music Texas. It's been going on for 57 years. We cannot record the performance, but you'll see us do the tour, the VIP tour, and eat some really good barbecue from Fat Boys Barbecue.
If you're near Amarillo, try to plan a visit to Palo Duro Canyon. It's the second largest in the United States. You can hike, you can bike, ride horses, or travel by car. Now back to the Texas Outdoor Musical, which is also in Palo Duro Canyon. It's approximately 2 hours in length, and the ticket prices range from $65 to $20. For further information, you can check their website, and they also have food options they offer as well.
I would like to bring your attention to this thing that says XIT. It's going down along the south side edge. It actually extends past the edge of the map there. XIT stands for 10 in Texas. That is because it stretched over 10 counties. It was a collection of land used as payment for the men who helped build the state capital of Austin, Texas. They got to do whatever they wanted with it. Most of them decided to live or farm on it, but some of them decided to preserve that land, and it eventually turned into state parks. Another ranch of note that is actually not marked on here, but it's going to be kind of over in that direction, is the JA Ranch. JA stands for John Adair, and it was founded by himself and his buddy Charles Goodnight. You may be familiar with that name, as the Goodnight Ranch is not too far from here. Charles Goodnight is also a character in the show tonight. At its peak in the 1880s, it stretched over 6 counties, making it one of the largest ranches not only in the state of Texas, but also in the entire United States as a whole. To give you an idea of where we are on this map, if you can find the box that says Randall, which is that second row from the bottom, second one from the left, you can see the Palo Duro Canyon carved through it, and the Palo Duro River as well. We are along that river right now.
Nice. Is the Canadian River, is that bigger? A bigger canyon?
Our canyon is the second largest in the United States, but that one's a pretty close contender.
Wow.
Yeah.
It looks pretty deep on the map.
Yeah. It's a very wide canyon and a very long canyon, but ours is deeper, so we win.
Yeah. It's nice
impressive, yeah.
And this is our lovely Star Patio. The Star Patio is lined with the 50 United States flags, as well as the flag of the canyon. The Oklahoma flag and the statue of Parker. Also lining the Star Patio are these bricks with names carved into them. The same can be said about the bricks that make up the star itself that we are standing on. These are the names of people and companies who have contributed to the show in the past. We also have a very special place in the star right here for a young lady named Elise Carlton. Elise was a dancer back in the year 2001. She was coming down here for a performance one night and did not make it to the Palo Duro Canyon. So we have given her a place in the middle of the star to always remember what she contributed. We also have another memorial to some fallen actors and dancers that we call the Texas Angels. Their memorial can be found in the top of the house, so when you go in, you're welcome to look for that and pay your respects if you would like. The Texas Angels died in a car crash back in the year 2013, so this year is the 10-year anniversary of that. And to honor them, we have given them a special number in the show in Act 2 called West Texas Rain. There's more. Paul Green is the playwright who originally wrote Texas. Another statue that you can find is actually across from the gift shop down the way, and that is of Margaret Harper. Margaret was the first president of the Texas Panhandle Heritage Foundation.
Oh my goodness.
We've been going for 57 years straight. He started working on the show in 1960, finished it in 1965, and it was first performed in 1966. We've been going 57 straight with Quanah Parker. Quanah Parker was the last chief of the Comanche people. They actually lived down here in Palo Duro Canyon for a significant portion of history. However, they were first to go live on the reservations. The American government does give them permission to come back and honor their ancestors with rituals and traditions, and this actually happens in the show. They are represented by a characterization of Quanah Parker, who is actually standing right over here. This is Benny Tamakera. He is the great-great-grandson of Quanah Parker. He will be playing him in the show.
We bought a CD.
Oh, yes. Yes, and this is Marla. She is our Comanche singer. They are both in the show tonight. You'll be able to catch them either after our tour or after the show itself. All the actors will be out and about for a meet and greet. Alright, so welcome backstage. The actors are currently getting ready for the show, so we might have to work our way around them a little bit to stay out of their way, but I'm still going to do my best to show you guys everything anyway. So the first thing I'd like to bring to your attention is that large building that's just over there. That is called the shop. It is is where we keep our electronic equipment and where we store our larger set pieces whenever we have weather events. The area that we are standing in, as well as what wraps around the back of the shop, is called the cast courtyard. It is where the cast members hang out whenever they don't need to be on stage. Also back behind that building is where we keep our live animals. You saw one of them earlier, or actually one's just right over there, and those are our horses, and we have a donkey named Albert who can be seen in Act 1. They are all taken care of by our wonderful Wrangler team. This building that is actually directly behind you is called the Crew House.
Come on, Calvin. Please, Calvin, there's nothing more we can do.
This right here next to us is our lovely train. The train is made up out of a hollowed out school bus and a Ford tractor for the engine.
Oh my goodness.
The actors actually ride around in it at part of the grand finale of Act 2. We have decorated the train to look as close as possible to the original train that ran on this track, which is Fort Worth to Denver, because that is the track that is actually a main point of focus during the show itself. This right here next to us is our band wagon. The band wagon is used by the Prairie Dog Band to get their instruments on and off stage. Most of them are small enough, like the guitar and violin, to just carry themselves. However, the larger instruments, like the piano and upright bass, are a bit more cumbersome, so they decided to put them on wheels. But then they decided it was still a little bit too heavy, so they took that piano that's out there in the front of the band wagon, and they ripped all its guts out and put an electric keyboard that is battery operated inside of it instead, to make it as light as possible, because the actors actually push and pull this on and off stage, then turn around and do a big dance number, and we wanted to make that as easy on them as possible. And then we come out here all summer long, and then we're actually wrapping up. This is the next to last week. We are in the last 7 performances now, so final countdown.
How many do you do per year?
We start in we start in mid-June, or we start performing in mid-June. We start rehearsals as early as March. But we start performing in mid-June and go all the way until about the 1st or 2nd week of August. We just have to be done at least 2 weeks before the school semester starts, because many of the people involved in this are college students, and most of them are either band or theater, and they have rehearsals for those things starting up before the semester even begins. So,
Are you in the show?
I am not in this show, however, I am in something that we call Texas Originals. I'll go ahead and talk about that. I don't want to freak out the horses, which is why I'm kind of stalling.
Fine. No, that's fine, yeah.
So Texas Originals is a talent show that we're putting on actually tomorrow at 7:30 at WT campus, if y'all are still in town. It is a fundraising event that we use to collect money for scholarships that are awarded to the college students involved in the show. I will be performing an opera piece called The Doll Song. It's a comedy piece where I'm a wind-up toy who keeps running out of wind before I can get to the end of my song.
That's fun.
Many of the towns founded up here in Palo Duro Canyon were originally founded as cow towns. You may be familiar with the term boom town, referring to a discovery of oil followed by an explosion in the economy. It's the same type of thing, except instead of oils, it's with cows. Another primary export we have out here is our crops. The main crops we grow up here are wheat, cotton, and corn. However, the difference between the crops and the cattle is that the cattle had legs and they were able to just walk it to the nearest town to be purchased, versus the crops, which would typically go bad before they could get anyone to buy them because they couldn't even get it to town in time. So the fastest form of transportation back in the day was the train. So the farmers reached out to the American government and they said, hey, I hear you're building a trail system. Can you make part of it come through the Texas Panhandle and end up in the Fort Worth, Dallas area? And the American government said, I love that idea. Maybe then someone will actually move up here. It was so desolate, no one wanted to live up here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the American government's all for it, the farmers are all for it. However, the ranchers have a little bit of concern with this, because this means they have to pin up all their cows, because until this point the cows were all free range and they just used the branding system to keep track of all their animals. But once they had to start pinning things up, it was a big old hassle, and the ranchers just frankly didn't want to deal with it. It's a main point of controversy in the show tonight, and you'll learn more about that later on. So I got 2 things to point out right here. First, we have this staircase/ladder that is going up the side of this building. The actors use that to get on the roof of the building for a scene in Act 2 that we refer to as Colonel Henry's Nightmare. The sun has gone down by that point, and due to him flying up in the air, it gives the illusion that he is flying above the Colonel, tormenting him during his nightmare. It's a very, very cool special effect.
Wow.
It is the 2nd most popular scene in the show, and I highly recommend you don't miss it. It's about halfway through Act 2. So before we head that way, I want to point out one more thing. We have this big white line on the ground. We call this a sight line. In traditional theater, there are curtains for the actors to hide behind so they're not being seen by anyone, but because we're outside, we don't have that luxury. So we had to paint a big white line on the ground so we can keep track of where we need to stand so no one in the audience is seeing us. We can see around 1,300 people out here. Tonight we are sitting a little under half of that, which, believe it or not. So about 600 people tonight. The seats are actually brand new this summer. Before this, way back in the day, we had just benches. And then we had metal seats, not too different from these. However, after sitting in the sun all day, they kind of baked a little bit and they were a little hot to sit in. So we have these new gray plastic seats that are less hot to sit in, especially now that the sun is going down the hill. It's all going to start cooling off very quickly out here. And they also come with fancy little cup holders, which is really exciting and neat. Right here. So I'd like to point out these markings here on the ground. These are called stage markings. They're used by the casting crew to keep track of where they need to stand, which is what these circles are, or where they need to put their set pieces, which is what these little triangles are at different points in the show. Traditionally, it's done with tape. However, because we are out here in the elements and the only show that happens on this stage, we figured it makes much more sense for our purposes to just use paint.
Right.
Oh yeah. We also have on these set pieces something that we call turntables. You can see that circular piece that's kind of jutting out right there. That is called a turntable because it can spin around, and on the other side it is a different set piece, like the inside of Uncle Henry's cabin or the inside of the bunkhouse, which is what we call where the cowboys would sleep whenever they didn't have to be outside with the cows. So because this is a desert environment, that means everything that lives out here has to be very, very durable. The animals that live out here, we have coyotes, roadrunners, about 100 species of snakes, including the rattlesnake. The rattlesnake is the only one you have to be concerned with. We also have about 300 species of spiders, including the tarantula. We are actually on a tarantula nesting ground. A wide variety of lizards and insects. We also have deer, mountain lions, mountain sheep, mountain goats, bobcats, and rabbits.
Wow.
All right, and this is our lovely backdrop of the Paladero Canyon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
The Paladero Canyon
You guys did a great job.
Yeah, we built it ourselves. Yes, absolutely. The Paladero Canyon is about 1 million years old. It is the second largest canyon in the United States. Second only to the Grand Canyon herself. We like to call her the younger and more attractive sibling. You can actually see the canyon's age lines in the stripes along the walls there. We call those Spanish skirts because the first settlers and explorers who came out here came out without any of the women in their lives, and they missed them terribly. And the stripes on the wall reminded them of the women's skirts, so that's what they decided to call it. Yes, so that's the next thing I'm getting into. In the past, we had fireworks in the show. The fireworks were used in our grand finale. However, about 10 years ago, we went into a very long drought. This drought actually ended about a month and a half ago, believe it or not. And when the drought ended, the state park came to us and said, hey, can you continue not doing fireworks because we would like to protect a very special little friend that lives down here. That is the Paladero mouse. He can only be found in the entire world in this part of the canyon. And so we want to do everything we can to protect that little guy as well as many other endangered species that live in this area. So we have switched from doing a fireworks show to a waterworks show. Very similar to what you would see at Epcot. We have recycled water that shoots up into the air with these fountains, and we use LED lights to project images and lighting onto them to make it more visible at night. It is our grand finale after the scene with the train. Yep. And if you look at that rock slide going down the back middle right there, look at the top of that rock slide. We call that the saddle. Now if you keep looking along the saddle to the right until you get to that big old rock that's jutting out right there, that is where you need to look at the very start of the show for our Rider on the Rim. The Rider on the Rim is the logo that you see on all of your merchandise there. The Rider on the Rim is a horseback rider who rides across the edge of the canyon wall carrying the Texas flag behind him. And we start the show every night this way. We take a lot of pride in it. However, they're only up there for about 5 to 10 seconds, and I'd hate for you to miss it. So as soon as you hear the trumpets right at the start of the show, make sure you're looking up there so you don't miss out. And that is a very fun thing that I love doing. All right. Because the show was done with Paladero Canyon in mind, the amphitheater was also built with Paladero Canyon in mind. It was built specifically for this show, and we used the canyon wall to our advantage. It is very, very good at projecting sound back at us. So to demonstrate that, what we're going to do, I know we are few, but we are mighty, so we're going to face this canyon wall dead on, and I'm going to count to 3. And on the count of 3, I want you to give the biggest yee-haw that you can straight to the canyon wall.
Okay.
He's asking the wrong
Here,
questions.
we need to get all 3 of us.
Okay.
Since there's only 3 of us.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
Did you hear it?
Is that it? Yeah.
Did.
So cool, isn't it?
That is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grace, you've been wonderful.
Thank you.
That sounds good to me. Yep, Fat Boys Barbecue. So tonight we got brisket, we got rope kielbasa sausage, we have potato salad, beans, coleslaw. We're also going to have a roll that is a fresh baked roll. Those were baked Friday morning. We have our own bakery that we have. No preservatives, no additives, just like your grandma would make it. And then our barbecue sauce is our house-made sauce we've been making since '88.
Oh, wow.
Then I have a cold lemon cake. And I got unsweet tea and water tonight.
Sounds so good.
Those ladies in there will be happy to take care of you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
So we got beef, sausage, potato salad, and a roll.
And I have beans and roll. Yes. This is hand sanitizing wipes. I just felt like I wanted to use something similar to a napkin.
We buried you here where you and me and Clara used to stand out at night and look at the stars. May they shine down in peace over you. They will, Mom. They will.
So, Texas, the musical. What did you think?
Go to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You gotta see it when you're here in Amarillo.
Well, it's Palo Duro. It's not officially Amarillo,
True.
but it's very close to Amarillo. Well worth the drive, even if you are in Amarillo, go down there.
It's about 25 miles tops from where we were at.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's a lot of students from Texas A&M, but they call it Texas
West?
A&M West or something like that.
yeah, something like that.
In Canyon, the city of Canyon, Texas.
Yeah, Palo Duro Canyon is beautiful. You will love it. They utilize the
it's a
canyon
great place
for their production. So it's a musical production, Texas, that goes back and tells the history of the panhandle of Texas. You won't regret it. It's really well worth it. We also did the VIP package.
They know.
Yeah.
They've seen it.
So that was good. Yes.
Yeah, the VIP package gave us the food, the tour, the bag.
Mm-hmm. And a cup.
A little bit closer seating.
A little cup.
Yeah,
you get a free
cup.
drink the first time, and then the second time it's $1.50. Which they didn't charge me for my water, but
yeah, it is pricey.
But they have to make
for the
some
stuff
money.
that we did. Well, I mean, they get a lot of people to support. I don't know. I assume they get paid. I don't know, but they've also got a lot of infrastructure there. They got that big building. And I'm sure they have to lease the land from the state because it's in a state park and stuff. And I mean, what a fantastic backdrop.
Yeah.
Why Florida's not doing one of these on the beach, I don't know. It could be a Florida story, or it could be just pirate stories, whatever. Every state needs to have one of these somewhere.
Yeah, I think they should for the historical value of it.
Yep.
It was great. So at the end, instead of fireworks, they did a light show with water, which was really incredible because the state parks, you may include this, about the state parks going and asking them to to no longer do the fireworks.
Watch
because
for
of
the Palo Duro mouse.
Yeah, they're endangered. So.
Well, that's the only place they're found too.
Yeah, only place in the world. So, yeah, kudos.
Which kind of
for
makes
them.
sense. I mean, but if you think about it, the travel or the Sandy Paws travel mouse is also only found in where we're at. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh my.
not that we have mice, but we might someday. We might buy one.
It was really great.
It was
Boys
the
barbecue was there.
Fat Boys Barbecue. That was really good food.
Yeah. Oh boy, we had
it-
brisket and smoked sausage, coleslaw, potato salad, a roll, and beans,
And
a
lemon
drink.
cake.
Oh, and the lemon cake was really good too.
Yep.
All for $25 a piece.
Yeah. It was really
So-
good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's odd too. Not that we've been at a lot of places in Texas, but this by far was the nicest and the most Texas hospitality that I've seen.
Yes.
Really nice people, and
Mhm.
you know, we weren't bothering them. It seemed like,
Right.
you know, so that's a good thing.
Yes, and I love the Texas pride
Yeah,
they show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
I
fun.
do too.
We have to say something about the Indian warrior there, Benny Tamakara. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He plays the Indian warrior who
He is the great grandson of the actual
Yes.
guy that they're portraying from 57 years ago.
That is the coolest. That he is actually, that is so meaningful for him.
Sure.
And, yeah, and for the woman.
It's not a big part, but I mean, you
Right.
really need to go see the show.
Right.
We got
and
there at 6, and now
6:30. We were supposed to have been there at 6:30. We were
6:30.
running a little bit behind.
it's after 11 now.
Yeah, they let out at 10:45.
Yeah.
So, and there is another cast member, an Indian of Indian descent, of the Comanche tribe,
Yeah.
who is selling
And
CDs.
a
The
lot
history of it.
there's not a lot of special effects, but the ones that are there are fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you for watching, and we will see you again next week.
Good night.